Oh, don't ever feed me a straight line like that.
I didn't get an answer.
That was very dangerous.
You shut your mouth
I
immediately.
will, I
You
will.
were listening to yourself.
I'm listening to myself. We're going to be on page 96 in the Course in Miracles text. And we're going to be on the section that's called the Alternative to Projection. And I got some Course in Miracles books up here in case you want to follow along, because sometimes the Course can be difficult to stay conscious in. And so I'm going to start off with, I'm going to go through the paragraph and then go through the paragraph and then go through the paragraph. Any splitted mind must involve a rejection of part of the mind, and this is the belief in separation, a rejection of part of your mind. The wholeness of God, which is God's peace, cannot be appreciated except by a whole mind that recognizes the wholeness of God's creation. By this recognition of the wholeness of God's creation, that's how the mind knows its creator. Exclusion and separation are synonymous. So another word for separation is exclusion. Exclusion and separation are the same thing, as are separation and dissociation the same thing. We've said before that the separation was and is dissociation. So if you notice in that paragraph, the Course is just giving you three different definitions of separation. One definition of separation is rejection. Another definition of separation is exclusion. Another definition of separation is dissociation. We've said before that the separation was and is dissociation, and that once separation occurs, projection becomes separation's main defense, or the device that keeps separation going. The reason, however, may not be so obvious as you think. So the way that we keep separation from each other going is through projection. That's the device that we use to keep ourselves separate from each other. We project on each other. And when what you project, you disown, and therefore you don't believe it's yours. So whatever you project on someone else is what you're disowning in your own mind. So if I don't want to claim it in myself, I'm going to project it in you. So projection is me disowning something that's in my own mind and then projecting it out on you. So that's what separation is. The truth is, you are joined with me and I'm joined with you, but I'm projecting the idea that you are not joined with me and that you're separate from me. So he says, you are excluding yourself. He says, what you project, you disown, and therefore do not believe is yours. You are excluding yourself by the very judgment that you are different from the one on whom you project. So you're excluding yourself or separating yourself by the very judgment that you are different from the one whom you project. Since you have also judged against what you project, you continue to attack what you judge against and project because you continue to keep it separated. By continuing to project unconsciously, you try to keep the fact that you've attacked yourself out of awareness, and thus you imagine that you've made yourself safe. So projection will always hurt you. Projection will always hurt you. Projection will always hurt you. So let's go back just a little bit. Since you also judge against what you project, you continue to attack it because you want to keep it separated. Like if you want to stay separate from someone, you just keep on attacking them. If you want to stay separate from someone, you just keep on attacking them. But the Course is telling us that since you have also judged against what you project, you continue to attack it because you continue to keep it separated, but you're trying to keep the fact that you've attacked yourself out of your awareness, and that's how you imagine you've made yourself safe. So the Course says we're imagining that we're making ourselves safe by staying unaware that what we're projecting into somebody else is really what's going on within us. So the way that I can make myself feel good about myself is to take all the qualities that's in my mind that I don't want to own and project it as being in you, and then I can imagine that I'm keeping myself safe. I can imagine I'm keeping myself safe by attacking you. But the truth is, the Course is saying that the only thing that you're doing is you're just attacking yourself, but you don't realize it. So you think you're keeping yourself safe, but whatever, it's really simple. Whatever you think you're seeing in somebody else is in your own mind. Whatever you think you're seeing in somebody else is in your own mind. Whatever you think you're seeing in someone else is in your own mind. Whatever you think you're seeing in someone else is in your own mind. Whatever you think you're seeing in someone else is in your own mind. Whatever you think about somebody else is what you think about yourself in your own mind. So the easiest way to get in touch with what you really think about yourself is pay attention to what you think about others. Because whatever you think about others is the way you really feel about yourself. Whatever you think about others is the way you really think about yourself. Projection makes perception. Perception is nothing but taking your own thoughts and qualities and beliefs and projecting them outside yourself into someone else. So I try to make myself believe that I'm good by projecting what I think of as my bad qualities into you. So I'll see you as having all the issues that I don't want to own that I'm having within myself. Everybody clear about that? Everything that I don't want to own about myself, I'm going to project it into everybody around me. So if you want to get a more accurate perception of how you really think, it's always how you think about everybody else is really how you think about yourself. And what you're telling yourself that you think about yourself is just what you're telling yourself to imagine you made yourself safe and loving. So I have a very cool perception of myself, but I'll see the people around me as having real issues. That's projection. The truth is, what I'm seeing in everyone around me is what I'm rejecting in myself, what I'm excluding in myself, what I'm not willing to see in myself. There's like 3 or 4 seats right here in the circle. So there's plenty of room to sit, to be included in the class.
There's,
Yeah,
two
yeah,
seats.
yes, 3 seats. It's amazing how we come to oneness classes to separate.
Yeah.
So this is there anybody in here that's not clear about what that paragraph just said? I'm not saying you have to like it. Most people don't like it. Most people don't like to think that what they're seeing in the world is in their own mind. They like to believe that they're really cool and everything about them is cool, but everybody else got the problem. Yeah.
So that works in reverse too. Like when I put someone up on a pedestal and I see them as better than me, I'm not wanting to own that in myself.
You're not wanting to own your own power. You're not wanting to own your own beauty. You're not wanting to own. If everybody around you seems like they're better than you, you're taking all of the loving qualities about yourself and you're projecting them outside of yourself. That's true also. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So to move beyond this,
Mm-hmm.
do I just pretend that I see them as loving? I mean, not like pretend that I don't feel that, but just, you know,
To move
not to react to it.
To go beyond it is to own that what you're seeing is going on within your own mind. That's how you go beyond it. You go beyond it by owning it. Is how you go beyond it. You know, if I see you as selfish, then I need to own that I have thoughts of selfishness in my own mind. And that what you are doing is making me aware of the thoughts of selfishness in my own mind, and then I ask the higher self for another way to look at my own mind. Then I'll ask for correction of my own perception. I'll ask for another way for me to look at it, because the beauty of the world is that it keeps you from fooling yourself, because we like to fool ourselves, which simply means we like to believe that things are the way we think they are. But actually what you're looking at is the way things really are. You know, if you really think you're a loving person, but you're surrounded by people that you see as being unloving, then you're deceiving yourself about how loving you think you are. The truth is, there are parts of you that doesn't believe that you're loving at all. That's why you're seeing people around you that you don't see as loving at all. So instead of trying to fix them and trying to get them to become more loving, you ask Spirit for help in changing all the unloving thoughts in your own mind, because they're being drawn into your own life because of the thoughts you have in your own mind. So the minute that you're tricked into thinking you need to correct something in somebody else, that's the trick. The answer is for me to recognize that everything that I'm seeing is going on in my own consciousness and ask for the correction in my own consciousness. Our favorite game, like he says, is projection. I want to stay separate from you, so I'm going to keep on attacking you. Like if you're in a relationship with someone and you love to argue with them and you love to fight with them and you're always experiencing some kind of lack of peace with them, that is, the Course just says, that's your attempt. You attack them, you continue to attack it because you want to keep them separated. If I want to stay separated from you, I'm going to continue to come up with something that's going to keep me angry, upset, and attacking you, but I don't realize I'm doing it because I don't want to join with you. That's why the real reason I'm attacking you is because I don't want to join with you. And I'll say it's but whatever you didn't come home on time last night. The truth is I'm mad because I want to be separate. And I'm just looking for an excuse to be separate. I want it to be separate right now. First you decide how you want to feel, and then you attract the perceptions and circumstances to justify it. That's the way it works. First I decide to have a miserable day, and then I have things show up to make me miserable. First I decide to be alone, then I have people who make me feel lonely. The thought always comes before the effect. Any other questions about the paragraph before I go to the next one? So everybody you're upset with, they're giving you an opportunity to get in touch with what you're upset with about yourself. Everybody around you that you love and you see as being wonderful, they're getting you in touch with what you love and what's wonderful inside yourself. So it works both ways. It isn't just the negative stuff, like you were just saying. It's also, if you see yourself as surrounded by loving people who really care about you, who you feel safe with, then you can safely assume your beliefs are really cool. If you see yourself as constantly surrounded by people who irritate you, upset you, and you don't feel any kind of peace with, then you need to know you have a lot of fearful, conflicting thoughts within your own mind. And the trick is going to be to get you to try to get them to change. That's the trick. The trick is, I'm going to get you to change. The problem is in you. A conscious being knows that they're looking at something that's going on in their own mind. That doesn't mean if you want to talk to the person, you wouldn't talk to the person, but a conscious being would never believe that that's the key to their peace, is getting the other person to change their behavior. No conscious being thinks that way. No conscious being believes that you treating me differently is what's going to make me happy. It's me treating me differently that's going to make me happy, and that may include choosing not to be around you. That may be me choosing to talk to you and giving you every opportunity to change your mind too. But ultimately, I'm responsible for the way that I'm being treated because I'm the one that's choosing to stay in the situation. Always. Always. There's no one else responsible for my happiness. There's no one else responsible for your 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 happiness, which means you could really be happy. Which means that's good freaking news.
It's good news.
I don't know about you, but that's good freaking news to me. I'm so glad I don't have to depend on anybody else in order for me to be happy. That's good news to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say I don't communicate as often with people who, I feel upset around. So is that loving though? Not.
It depends on what you're not communicating to them.
Okay.
And sometimes the most loving, I would venture to say the most loving thing you can do with most people is not say nothing.
I agree.
I agree. I mean, if you're not gonna say something loving and helpful, I think it would be better if you did keep your mouth closed.
I agree.
Because if you're upset, it's you making yourself upset because you're the one that's giving the meaning to whatever's going on that's making you upset. So, and then I'm telling you, every time your mind tells you that it's about the other person changing in order for you to be happy, that is your ego. That is a trick. It is not the truth. No one else has to change in order for you to be happy. No one else has to change in order for me to be happy. No one has to change. Nothing has to change, actually. Your job doesn't have to change. Your financial situation doesn't have to change. Your sex life doesn't have to change. Nothing has to change in order for you to be happy. If you just want to get real, there's not one single thing in my life that needs to change in order for me to be happy but my mind. Period. Everything else is an illusion. Everything else is a trick that I'm playing on myself. Does that mean that I won't change my physical circumstances? No, not at all. If I'm not to the point that I can change internally, then there needs to be some changes in my external situation. Because maybe that change in my external situation will give me an opportunity to look within and see what needs to happen in my internal situation. But the truth is the truth, if true any way you look at it. Any way you look at it, there's nothing outside of myself that needs to change in order for me to be happy. Nothing. Period. Period. Nothing. Nothing, 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 nothing has to change in order for me to be happy. I can believe something outside of me needs to change in order for me to be happy. I can believe that somebody needs to change outside of me in order to be happy. But that's me giving my power away. That's me making my happiness dependent on you. And every time you do that, you weaken yourself. Because everybody's not going to act out my script.
Yeah.
But on another level, guess what? Everybody's acting out your script. That's the paradox of truth. You're creating your reality, so everybody's treating you exactly the way you want them to treat you on every level. And at another level, you don't have any control, it looks like, over how anybody treats you at all. Except how you look at it. But when you really wake up, you realize people are just doing exactly what you ordered them to do on a subconscious telepathic level. That there are two levels of communication going on. The level of verbal communication and then the level of psychic telepathic communication. So everybody's treating me the way that I'm asking them to treat me. Everybody's being the way I want them to be with me. And I'm glad. Even if I don't like it, I'm still glad.
So Earl, then, in other words, then, I don't need to wait for my mom and dad to sit down and tell me, I validate you as a good son. You've been a good son. I don't have to wait for that. I could give that to myself.
Absolutely. And when you realize that, and then as soon as you realize that, they'll probably say, boy, you're a really great son. That's the weird part about it. It's like as soon as it doesn't make any difference to you, it's when everybody starts to look like they're doing everything you've always wanted them to do.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the part that's so cool about the truth. As soon as it doesn't matter, the person seems to change. But as long as you insisted on that person changing in order for you to be happy, that's not going to happen. You know why? Because the universe doesn't want to support the lie that somebody else needs to change in order for you to be happy. Suppose I said I wasn't going to be happy unless you changed, Chris. Then every time you changed, it would further convince me that my happiness is dependent on something outside of myself. Do you think God, for one instance, wants to convince me that my happiness depends on something beside my own self and God? So every time you make a condition and you go, it's got to be this way or else, then you set yourself up, because the universe isn't going to answer prayer like that, because that's further convincing you that your happiness depends on something outside of you, and that's a lie.
Wow.
That's why the things that don't seem to matter seem to manifest the fastest. I don't know if you've noticed that or not, but the things you'll throw away, you might go, I would like to go to the movie today, but you're not addicted to it. And before you know it, somebody said, let's go to the movie and I'll treat you. Why? Because you wanted it, but you didn't make your happiness dependent on it. You wanted it, but you wasn't obsessed about it. You wanted it, but you weren't going to let it ruin your day if it didn't happen. Okay, poof, you can have it. But the minute you go, it's got to be this way. I got to make $100,000 a year or I'm going to be miserable. You're probably not going to have $100,000 a year show up too quickly from the perspective of realization of the truth. I mean, you can visualize and do The Secret and manifest. Okay, you can do all that kind of stuff, but it's not increasing your awareness of the truth. Because your awareness of the truth means that you know your happiness doesn't depend on anything outside of yourself. So I'm not saying you can't manifest the car, but the car isn't going to make you happy unless you decide to be happy with the car. As soon as you decide to be happy with the car will be the best car you ever had. Hello? Everybody with me on this?
Yeah.
Okay. Next paragraph. It says, yet projection will always hurt you. Projection will always hurt you. We got 3 seats here, right here, brother. Come on in. How you doing? All right, cool. It says, projection will always hurt you. Projection reinforces your belief in your own split mind. Now, what does it mean when it says split mind? It means I have a mind that is split between love and fear. I have a mind that's split between taking responsibility and blaming. I have a mind that's split between thinking I'm innocent and thinking I'm guilty. I got a mind that believes it's connected to source, and I got a mind that believes it's not connected to source. I got a mind that thinks I'm a human being, then I have a mind that thinks that I'm more than a human being, I'm spirit. I have a split mind. I have a mind that I identify with part of the mind, and I have a mind that I project on all of you that is not part of my mind. So he calls it a split mind. It's you thinking you're separate. An easy way to look at it would be there are 2 yous. Like I know even without any of you all telling me that it's 2 of you. The one that can be very loving and kind, and the one that can be a psycho. And it depends. and you don't have to tell me that. I'm conscious enough to know that. And you're conscious. There's a part of you that loves and a part of you that fears.
Oh, yeah.
There's a part of you that takes responsibility. And how do I know there's a part that doesn't take responsibility? Because you're sitting in front of me, and none of us are different. That's the reason why we're around each other. Because none of us are different. That's why we're around each other. So you don't have to wonder about whether the people in your reality have your qualities. If you see them, they do. Now, what brings it out and what makes them show it is different. So don't bad that you're around anybody that's different from you. That's another lie. You know, you're not around anybody that's different from you. You just haven't done what it takes to bring out that side of them. Probably you're just not special enough. To be absolutely honest, you're probably not special enough to upset me. That's reserved for the people that I say I love.
Yeah.
They the ones that get the chance to see the psycho.
Yep.
Right. And they're also the ones that get a chance to see the one that really seems like it's caring. They get a chance to see both parts of me. Isn't that wonderful? I hope I get to the point that I treat the people I say I love as well as I treat strangers.
Yes.
I'll free a stranger. I'll let a stranger be.
Yes.
I won't try to control what a stranger does. I don't do that with the people that are special with me. They have one purpose, to make me happy. And they're going to do that by following my instructions. And if they don't, they're selfish. Okay? So I love that. So and I'm going to take everything that's upsetting me about me, I'm going to project it into them, and rather than own it in myself, I'm going to say that they're the one that's causing me to feel this way. Because they give me a chance to hide what I feel about myself from myself.
Right.
That's their purpose. I can temporarily forget how I feel about myself because I can temporarily take my value from you.
Right.
You make me feel good. You make me feel valid. You make me feel important. That's your job. And if you don't do it, then I'm mad. And you're selfish. You got a problem. Let's go to therapy. So that you can get fixed. You'd be amazed at how many people come to a class to hear what they think they need to say to somebody else to get them to change. They won't be sitting up here going, oh, this is something I need to work out myself. They say, oh, if I could just get my mama to listen to this. If I could just get my partner to hear what he's saying. They don't get that it's no accident that you're here and not your partner. Why are you here? It's because you're the one that needs it. I'm the one that needs it. That's why I teach it. So it says projection will always hurt you. I love that. Projection reinforces your belief in your own split mind. Its only purpose is to keep the separation going. So how do I get rid of the separation that I feel with another person? By not seeing us as different. If I want to join with you, I'm not going to project on you that you're separate. If you're upset, then I'm going to realize there's a part of me that can be upset too. And I'm going to think about that. And then I'm going to respond to you as if I'm capable of feeling the same way you're feeling. And the minute I respond to you from the perspective that I could feel that way too, there's going to be less separation between us, and the communication between us is going to be more peaceful and more powerful. You'd be amazed. I can see how you would feel that way. If I was in your shoes, I'd probably feel the same way you do. I could understand how you could possibly be upset if I came home 3 hours late without calling. If you started from that perspective, you cut out 90% of the defensiveness and the separation between you and the person you're getting ready to talk to. So projection reinforces your own belief in separation. The Course says its only purpose is to keep the separation going. That projection is solely a device of your ego to make you feel different from your brothers and separate from your brothers. So projection is just a defense of my fearful mind. So projection keeps fear going. So the purpose of projection is to keep fear going. What's the purpose of fear? The purpose of fear is to keep me feeling separate from God and separate from love, which the Course says is the only problem we have is a sense of separation from God, our higher self. And fear is the main way we do it. And projection is the main way we keep fear going. If you're a stranger to me and you're different from me, it keeps my fear going. If I thought we were the same and connected and joined, I wouldn't be so afraid of you. Two burglars would be much more prone to discuss their burglaries together than a burglar and a policeman. Because the two burglars see each other as the same. They see the policeman as different. Whenever you're around someone that you see as the same as you, you tend to communicate more with and be more honest about what you're really feeling and thinking. When you're around people who you see as different from you, you hide. And you don't share as fast. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
You know, the minute you think you're around somebody that's like you, then you talk. The minute you think you're around somebody that's not like you, that's why most of our relatives and parents don't really know us. Because we think they're different. So we're not going to share our deepest beliefs with them. And so we pick and choose what we're going to say because we don't feel the same. But the minute you get with your friend, then you're going to say everything that's really going on because you think you're the same. You feel safe. Yes.
Well, will I be able to see beyond what I'm projecting? There's something there.
That's the good news, is that there is something really there on the other side of my projection. I'm looking forward to the day I really see all of you all, instead of just seeing my projections of what that's what's happening right now. I mean, we're sitting up in the room, but we think we're looking at each other, but y'all not looking at me. You all are looking at whatever y'all think about me, and whatever you think about what I'm saying. You're not seeing me, and I'm not seeing you. None of us are seeing each other. We're just seeing our projections. That's it. One day I hope to meet all of you. And the Course says, well, how can I tell when I'm really going beyond my projection? That's a great question, isn't it? How can I tell? When I feel complete love for you. When I look at you with such wonderment that tears almost come to my eyes because of what I'm looking at is so beautiful to me. He says right there in the book, you'll know when you really see each other. You'll scarcely be able to refrain from falling down on your knees at the beauty of what you're looking at and the safety that you feel. If I'm not feeling that and I'm not seeing that, I haven't seen you yet. So I still need to work on my mind. And there's not very many people I see that way. So I'm still seeing my projections. And so are you. I didn't see nobody fall on their knees when they walked in here today. So it's pretty obvious to me we haven't seen each other yet. What about those people we see and we do feel like falling on our knees? It's because we projected on them that there's something about them that is going to meet a need that we have, that's fulfilling some fantasy that we have. That's why I pick one person over another person. I pick one person over another person based on who I think can fulfill my need the best. That's why I'm interested in you and I'm not interested in you. It's based on what needs I think you can fulfill that the other person can't fulfill.
So you'll see everybody the same way when that happens.
When it happens, you'll see everyone with love. Everybody still has their own uniqueness, because that's why we came into this world, was to express the love in many different various ways, which is fun. I'm glad that we have our individuality. But what we're going to all have in common is we'll be loving what we see.
So that's why people love babies.
Why?
Because they can project everything, all their love into that.
And some people look at a baby and they project every ounce of hate they got. It's, you know what I'm saying? So everybody don't like babies.
It seems like a lot of people do that.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, everybody don't get thrilled at the idea of seeing a baby, but I understand what you're saying. I mean, but people don't like to say that. But some people, you know, that's why you find some babies in the garbage can. You know, the mother doesn't necessarily like what they're seeing. The mother's projecting their own fear and hatred into the child and then abuses the child. Or a person could see their value in their child and then project all the meaning into the child and go, like people say, you know, oh, all babies are innocent. They're no more innocent than you are. It's not like the baby's innocent but grown folk aren't.
Right.
It's the same. You know, a baby can be every bit as selfish as an adult. Try not giving it what it wants when it wants to see the baby. It's like, oh, mommy, that's okay. You don't have to give it to me. Babies don't do that. They picture a hissy fit.
Right.
Babies aren't any different from us. What I love about a baby is that they're more honest than us. We the same friggin' way. We just hide it. The older you get as an adult, you just become better at hiding the fact that you want to scream when you don't get your way too. And you would, and you do. Depending on who it is, you just go off just as much. And you'll scream until they answer your call for love. Just like a baby will scream. And then some people do you like people do babies. They just let you scream. And they don't change. As a matter of fact, they're doing you a favor when they do that, actually. Even though it makes your ego mad. But they're actually doing you a favor when they don't respond to attack. The more a person screams at me, and the more angry a person gets at me, the less I respond. It took me a long time to learn to do that. You will not get me to respond to your attack on me. I am not going to teach you that attacking me gets you what you want. So the more you scream at me, the more you tell me what's wrong with me, the more you tell me I'm bad and I'm wrong, the more I'm going to sit there like this. You're going to have to approach me some other way. Because if you scream and yell at me and cuss me out, and then I go, what can I do, what can I do, what can I do? I have taught you that projecting on me is how you get what you want. Now, what kind of lesson is that to teach somebody? Mm-hmm. So when people give in to your anger, they are just teaching you that you have a control over the people that you don't truly have, and it's going to bite you in the butt one day. Mm-hmm. Because the minute you don't meet their need, they're going to withdraw that power they've given you, and you're going to freak out because you really thought you had some power over them. So you can pretend that the person has power over you, especially on a Saturday night. And you can have a lot of fun. As long as neither one of y'all really believe that crap. That you really do. That it's a gift. Your influence with me is a gift I'm giving you. And the influence I have with you is a gift you're giving me. And I should be grateful that you're willing to give me that gift of meaning. But it's a gift. And how do I keep that gift coming? I keep it coming by appreciating you and letting you know I appreciate you. And that I appreciate the gift that you're giving me. But the minute I think it's mine by divine right, then I'm going to be in for a rude awakening. I'm going to be devastated.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, and I need to say this because it's gonna help me, but because you're saying that for lack of a better word, that I need to see everyone as one. And so the biggest hang up that I have is that, like, I've been doing this for a while, and you know, I still have days where I want to be a victim. I still have days where I have like the pockets, where I'm like lusting.
Yeah, but what's it?
The
buckets.
Oh, okay.
I still have days like that.
Okay.
I still have days where I want to lust, where I want to be bad, and I need to be able to,
Really bad?
huh?
Really, really
Well,
bad.
And I need to, I guess, say that because, see, I come in here and I come into other circles. Sometimes I think, wow, these people, they're not struggling with that. And if I say that I'm struggling with that, oh man, they're gonna shun me. And so, like, I'm saying this right now in order to get it out and to be like,
And you know what?
we're one.
You know what?
And we're struggling with
You
the
know
same
what?
thing.
There's a part of me that feels exactly the same way. There's a part of me that, see, the fact that you could say, I want to be angry, I want to be separate, I want to be a victim, then you are empowering yourself with every statement you say. Because you're owning that that's what you want to do. See, a person who's not owning it is a person that's saying that anger is being caused by somebody else. You're saying, I want to feel this way. I'm making myself feel this way. That's power, man. You can't keep a pattern that you own. You can't keep a pattern that you own. You can only keep a pattern you don't own.
Yeah.
And you're owning it. Yeah. I get up, there's some days I get up, and I know at the very beginning of the day, I'm gonna have a bad day. Okay? Because I've already decided to be upset and the day just started. Nothing's even happened, and I've got out the bed with an attitude. So the day is gonna justify the attitude that I've awakened with. The Course says we wake up in the morning with one thing in mind. He said to be right when we're wrong. Yeah, this day is going to go the way I want it to go. Things are going to be the way I see it. Things are going to be the way I want it to be. And he says that's how we walk out of the door. And so then it becomes all day long, I want it this way, I want it this way, I want it this way. This got to be my way, this has got to be my way. And by the end of the evening, you're drained because you're angry. Because nobody's acting out the script that you've set up for yourself all day.
Even me.
Even me. Well, I'm most especially mad at me. Because I was the one that came up with what should have happened in the first place. So I'm really mad at me. You know, think about that for a minute. Do you wake up every morning asking the universe itself to give you the day that you want? Or do you wake up in the morning with a script that you have at the very beginning of the day of how it should go, and then try to fit everybody into your script?
Oh, yeah.
We know which one we fall into. How can you tell? By how much anger you have during the day. The more anger you have during the day, the more projecting you've been doing all day, because for whatever reason, you want to be separate. You want to be afraid. How do I get past that? By owning every single solitary thing that I see is going on within my own mind. Which is just the opposite of what the mind is inclined to do. That's how you get past it. Guess what? I saw in the paper that there was a murderer. Okay, guess what? I have murderous thoughts too. There was a man I read that raped a woman. I have rape thoughts too. Whether it's raping myself by violating myself in some way. Maybe I won't do it in a sexual way, but I could be violating myself. See, it's the minute I go, oh, there's a part of me that can violate, then I don't have to meet that in my physical world because I'm not in denial about it. And what I'm in denial about is what I meet. So when I started saying all the anger I see in traffic is my own anger, was when I stopped seeing people who gave me the finger in traffic. That's when the road rage stopped. When I owned that I was angry, then I stopped having so many people who were getting upset with me. It's the weirdest thing. But when I was Mr. Nicey guy, who didn't ever get upset with anybody, and everybody else was the problem, I was constantly meeting people who were irritating me, even though I was so nice. But the minute I went, you know, I'm going to acknowledge my inner asshole. Okay, he's alive and well.
I love
Was when other people like that stopped showing up in my life. But truth people don't like to do that because their image of themselves is that I'm just so loving. I just love everybody. I'm the most caring person in the world. I wouldn't hurt a fly. And then they have the one drama, one unexpected thing that upsets them after another. They lose their mind going, why is this happening to me? I'm really a good person. No, you're a mad person that's totally in denial about your anger. And you're making up an image of yourself that you are so much more loving than you actually are. And your world is reflecting back to you what's going on in your subconscious mind. That all you have to do is own it for a second and it'll go away. It'll just go whoof. But the Course says that the image that we have of ourselves is our most protected treasure. That our self-concept is our greatest treasure. The way we have made up in our minds that we are, he says we defend that against everything. Yeah, so if I got this image of Earl as being this really cool guy, I will defend that to the day I die, no matter how many things come up to show me that I need to change my mind about myself. I'm going to protect that image. That image is what's killing you. That image is what's killing you. Did you hear me, brother?
I did. One of the words I would associate with our perception of others is judgment.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when we have a negative perception about somebody else, what we're really doing is judging ourselves.
That's what I've been saying. Yeah. And everybody's, I bet you I could have asked that to almost anybody in this room, and they would have said that. They would have said, oh, I'm just saying myself. I'm just saying what's up. Then why aren't we happier? It's because we're practicing. We're just saying something we don't freaking believe right now. But one day we will. So we just keep saying it over and over again. Oh yeah, I know it's just my own judgment. I know that what I'm seeing is really in myself. Really? If you really knew that, Earl, wouldn't you then just change your mind and then be really cool and happy today? No, I'm practicing. I'm saying stuff. I love y'all. I realize I'm the holy child of God. I realize I'm totally innocent. I'm just practicing, telling myself the truth until I believe it. And then when I believe it, I'll have total peace. That's how, the Course says, that's how you know when you understand. It says, you know when you understand because you have total peace. And without peace, there is no understanding. And without understanding, there is no peace. So if you have no peace, you have no understanding. So it would be much better if you're in conflict to say, I do not understand my mate. I do not understand my job. I do not understand my financial situation. I do not understand people. I do not understand women. I do not understand men. Like right behind I'm upset should be the statement, I do not understand what this means. Because peace goes with understanding. And if I don't have peace, I don't have understanding.
Question. How have you gotten or trained yourself or tricked yourself to look at the good stuff as a reflection of you inside? I mean, I can take the mirror out there and go, okay, I think there's a jerk right there, and then go, oh, yeah, okay. So I'm seeing a reflection of something inside of me. But how do you account for the good stuff inside of you?
By the same way. Well, it's just a matter of acceptance. What you're saying is that it's harder for me to accept that the good stuff that's inside of that I'm seeing is also inside of me. It's easier for me to see what I perceive as not the good stuff as being inside of me. That's why it's easier for me to say, oh, the jerk in them. I realize that's the jerk in me. Okay, but it's through consciously reminding yourself that that good stuff is a reflection of the good stuff in you, without feeling like you have to necessarily believe it. That's why the Course says at the very beginning, you do not have to believe it. You do not have to welcome it. It goes through that whole thing because it's trying to teach us that something can be true whether you believe it or not. That your belief does not determine the truth of something. I'll say it again. Your belief does not determine the truth of something. Just because you don't believe you're loving and lovable has nothing to do with you being loving and lovable. At all. The truth is you could totally deserve love and don't think you do. So thank God that your belief doesn't have any effect on the truth. But what your belief does is it determines what you see. but it does not determine the truth. You can believe stuff that is not accurate at all. But the Course is saying, let me bring your beliefs more in line with the truth, so that the gap between what you believe and what is true is so small that you can bridge that gap and actually get into the part of you that really loves yourself. Because there's a part of you that already knows you are loving and lovable. There's a part of you that already knows you're whole and complete. We just out of touch with it. So the Course is saying, let me give you some new interpretations of the way to look at your life and things that's going on in your life that's more and more in line with the truth of who you really are, until you can accept it as true. But you do it through repetition and remembering. That's why classes like this, that's why I keep doing these classes. Not because I'm trying to get people to learn necessarily something different, but I try to give people once a week an hour that they can hear the truth about themselves that they need to remember. Because you're acting from what you remember all week. And you know you're not going to hear this on the 5:30 news, and you know you're not going to hear this in the Denver Post, and you know in general you're not going to hear it from the people that you're around. So if you don't make a point of making sure you hear the truth about yourself, you forget it. And if you forget it, you don't see it. But it's the main thing that will knock you out, will make you go to sleep, and will make you go unconscious. You want to see people fall asleep quick? Tell them they're powerful. Tell them they're loving. Tell them that they create their reality. Tell them they're not a victim.
I'm totally struggling with that right now.
With
It's
what?
like I'm just surfing this class. I don't usually feel this.
Oh, this is not pablum. This is hardcore, straight at you. True, that's fine. That's what I'm
like.
Right, that's okay. I'm gonna do that because I need it. You know, I'm not gonna lighten up anymore anything I'm teaching because of how other people may react to it. Because I want to move on in my own spiritual growth, and I can't move on in my own spiritual growth if I'm trying to keep everybody from going unconscious. I can't do that anymore. Of course, he's already told us, you're going to want to go unconscious when you're being told the truth about your ego. So why should I be freaked out when I want to go unconscious? The only reason why I don't go to sleep is I'm talking.
What do we do?
I think like we both be cuddled up in the spoon position. This is part of my insisting that I stay awake. Y'all seen that movie, The Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Anybody remember that movie? That movie was one of the truest movies you ever want to see. It wasn't until they went to sleep that the aliens could take them over. And as long as they stayed awake, they couldn't be taken over by the aliens. So the whole movie was about not going to sleep. It's like if you went to sleep, then the alien that took you over looked just like you. Look exactly like you. Talk like you, look like you, everything. That isn't a true story, because that's our ego. It's the alien. It's our fake self that we think is us that's taken over because we made it up and we identified with it. I made up this image of Earl. Now I'm identifying with this image of Earl because I went to sleep. I forgot I was a holy child of God. I forgot I was an infinite being. I forgot that I was not a victim. I forgot that I was one with you. I forgot that I set this whole thing up, right? So when we hear the truth, that part of us that wants to go to sleep so it can be taken over by the alien comes up. You know, because everybody, it's easy to stay awake when you're already asleep. The Course says we're having the dream that we are awake. Like we're really like sleepwalkers. We're dead asleep, walking around, looking like we're awake. That's what we really are. We're sleepwalkers. We're dead asleep to the truth, walking around thinking that we're awake. So as long as somebody tells us to lie, we stay awake. Because the fake part of us needs to lie. But the minute somebody starts to tell us the truth, then the fake part of us goes to sleep because it doesn't want your real self to hear what I'm saying. See, so it's got to go to sleep so the information won't get in. But it's just the opposite. When you go to sleep, the information goes straight in because there's no ego to interfere with the truth that I'm telling you.
Cool.
Yeah, I think when I'm really on the verge of enlightenment with my class, everybody be asleep.
Can I just lay down?
Yeah, everybody. I did a whole Course in Miracles weekend. It's funny, you think of hours of trip, try a whole weekend. I did this Course in Miracles weekend in Atlanta one time, and I called it the Butt Over the Sofa Seminar. And by the end of the thing, everybody's butt was up in the air. They were like, oh, they was hanging over the top of the sofa, you know, because your ego, the part that wants to keep you the same, does not want to hear the truth. And this is what we're hearing. Like it says right here. It says, I love this. He says, your ego justifies this projection, making you feel different from people on the grounds, and it makes you seem better than they are, thus obscuring your equality with the person even further. So why do I want to project on you? Because I want to believe I'm better than you. That's why I project on you. I got to make you less than me in order for me to be better than you, to be special. So I'm projecting all these negative qualities on you, so it makes me, or at least I'm not like that person. Like in the election, I was going there. Who do I want to vote for? My Mitt Romney self or my Barack Obama self? Because both of them are me. I wouldn't go in there as a Mitt Romney and there's a Barack Obama and neither one of them are me. Barack's me, Mitt isn't. No, it was like, here's my Mitt self, here's my Barack self. Which one do I want to side with in this instant? But they're both me. Then no matter who won, I would have won. Because they were both me. And I took it another level. I said, you know, what would be the advantages of Mitt winning to me, and what would be the advantage of Barack winning to me? Because if you're conscious, you realize there's nothing that can happen that's not for your own best interest, whether you realize it or not.
Wow.
So no matter who would have won the election, there was a way to look at it that it would have been to my advantage.
Right.
If I had asked for it, even though I had my preference. You follow what I'm saying? That it's when you understand there's nothing you're looking at that's not your own consciousness, is when there's no longer opposition with it. And when there's no opposition with it, your life isn't full of conflict anymore. Because nobody's going to conflict with you when you're not conflicting with yourself. And when you're conflicting with yourself, everybody conflicts with you. So if you want to get rid of all the conflict in your life right now, you got to ask yourself, where am I in conflict with myself? And what does that mean? It means, where am I thinking something that I'm doing different from what I'm feeling, that I'm doing different from the way I'm behaving? Where am I out of alignment with myself? Where am I saying one thing and doing something entirely different from what I'm saying? Because my world is reflecting that conflict back to me in terms of the conflicts I'm having with everybody in my life. Where am I incongruent? And my incongruency is being reflected back to me through challenging situations and circumstances with other people outside of me. So how do I get past that? I'm owning it all. It's all my consciousness. All of you all's consciousness is my consciousness. All the people I read in the paper is my consciousness. Everybody I'm seeing on TV is my consciousness. The people in Iran, that's my consciousness. The people in the Middle East, that's my consciousness. The Ku Klux Klan, that's my consciousness. All of it's my consciousness. Where am I meeting racial prejudice? Where I have racial prejudice toward myself. Where am I meeting crazy women? When I have a crazy perception of my own feminine in the woman within me. Where am I meeting men that abuse me? Where am I abusing myself but not owning my own masculine power? And I'm giving it away. So I'm meeting men who seem to be really hard to get along with, because I'm not getting along with the masculine within myself. Then watch it disappear. I didn't say you had to make it go. I said disappear, because it's all magic. The Course calls this magic. This is the ultimate David Copperfield act that we're doing. And so we're finally ready to have the happy magic show. Are you ready for the happy magic show?
Yes.
Okay, so let's acknowledge ourselves for watching the Black Man Ranch. It's very good. Another episode of the Black Man Ranch. It's very important. So if you walk out here today on the practical side and you own whatever you project, then you know you're about to get past that thing. And Chris, when you said, I made myself do that, I want to be angry, if you say something like that, that means that you have broken your pattern. A person who breaks their pattern is the person who owns it. The person who doesn't own it is the person who hasn't broken the pattern. So all you're doing is seeing the residue of a pattern you've broken still appearing to look like it's showing up. Okay, got it?
Yes.
I yanked the electrical cord out of the socket of the fan. Takes a few minutes for the blades to stop. Takes a few minutes for the blades to stop. So when you change your mind For a while, temporarily, it'll look like you're still going through the stuff you've been going through all the time. But you pull the blade, and pretty soon, those screwed up relationships are gonna stop. The financial challenges that you put yourself through are gonna stop.
Wow.
Because how did you pull the plug? By taking responsibility and not projecting it outside of yourself. That's pulling the plug. So if you're in a relationship with somebody and they're saying to you, I'm making myself angry, I'm taking responsibility for what I just did last night, there is another way for us to look at this, let's look at it another way, I own my part in what just happened between us, then you know you all are gonna move toward peace in the relationship. If you're in a relationship with someone and they're constantly telling you what you need to do in order for the relationship to work, then you're in a relationship that you're stuck in the pattern of the past and you're never gonna join and have a happy relationship with each other. It's simple. It's very simple. But it takes really being willing to own your stuff. And that's where people fall short. Is they're willing to take responsibility. Which will become easier as you see the benefit to you in doing it. See, I'm not gonna do it until I can see the benefit to me in doing it, see? So what you wanna do is you wanna spend an evening going, what would be the benefit to me in practicing this truth? Or anything you're trying to get motivated about. How would it, you might even wanna write it down. If I do this, this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen that I like, and this is gonna happen I like, and this is gonna, oh, so that's why I'm owning it and shutting my mouth right now and being quiet and getting in the car and driving away and praying for a while before I have this conversation. You gotta tell yourself what would be the reward for what you're doing. Then you'll be motivated. Mm-hmm.
Well, for me too, I think I connect responsibility with the word blame.
Right.
And that's not true.
Right.
But that's like my,
So
it's like,
how
I
do
don't
you tell
blame
the
myself
difference?
anymore.
Okay,
You know,
right. And how do you tell the difference between responsibility and blame? The way you tell the difference between responsibility and blaming yourself is when you blame yourself, you feel bad, and when you take responsibility, you feel empowered. Because technically, they'll look the same. So you go, oh, okay, I need to blame myself for all these relationships that I've had that haven't worked out. Okay, if you go, well, I'm responsible for all these horrible relationships that I've had. See, you're blaming yourself. Why? Because you don't feel empowered. But if you go, oh, I'm responsible for what's been going on in my relationships, which means I can change them. I can change my mind and I can have a different kind of relationship now because I was the one that's creating the way that I'm feeling it and all the meaning it gives. Then you're taking responsibility. Responsibility, I feel lighter, empowered. Blame, I feel like I'm just this pitiful, horrible person. So taking blame is not the same as taking responsibility. And you can tell by the way you feel. One of them is attacking yourself, one of them is releasing yourself. And you deserve to be released.
Mm-hmm.
You deserve happiness.
Yes.
I deserve happiness.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to do the financial expression of appreciation now. And I appreciate everything that you share with me in these classes. And thank you on the internet for your generosity. And things. Here you go, Sunshine. I'm available for personal sessions called Clarity Sessions, which you can find out more about on my website, earlpurdy.com. It explains it in detail. Because you don't have an original problem, you don't have an original issue. So there's nothing you're going through that you cannot be given another way to look at it, if you really want one. So I want to, and if you haven't signed our contact list up here, I would love if you do, because I'm gonna be doing a lot of traveling in the year coming up, and on Tuesday night, not this Tuesday night, but a week from now, I'm starting another class. I'm gonna be giving out more information about that. But it's gonna be a more advanced class, and it's gonna be a combination of A Course in Miracles and a book called The Way of Mastery.
Mm-hmm.
Very powerful. That's gonna be Tuesday night.
Ooh.
It is gonna be a very powerful class.
And when
Very
is it?
powerful class.
Next week.
It's not
week?
this Tuesday, but a week from this Tuesday.
All right. That's good.
It's called November 20th, I think. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna send a mail out
Oh,
on it
that's
in
the
detail.
20th.
Yeah. I need some hardcore stuff.
Yes.
I'm ready for a shift.
Yes.
And,
Me
and
too.
so I want to make a special appeal to people who reach their limit in some way, who are willing to
I'll never
admit they
reach
don't know it all. Thank you, baby. Lord have mercy. You're such a great projection. All right. I love y'all,
I love you all.
but I have to admit I don't know what it is, but I love you.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Wouldn't it be great if somebody said, I don't really know what love is, I don't really know how to do it, but I really want to experience it with you, and I'm willing to do everything it takes to learn how to experience it with you. To me, that's a much more honest,
Yes.
you know, than, okay, so here's a song I want to close on. I love you,